Down the stretch they come!
Welcome back to Down the Stretch. For tips for Sunday, December 21st, 2025. This is the second day of racing, back-to-back race meets at Caymanas Park. Remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let's get right into tips. The first race, 3-year-old and up, optional claimer, 700,000 to 600,000. 5-year-olds and up, now of 4, and imported 5-year-olds and up, now of 3. A field of 10, they go 7.5 furlongs, born down to 4. They're going to be the 4, She's My Hedge Fund, the 6, Charming Sound, the 7, The Real Identity, and the 8, I Realize. Number 4, She's My Hedge Fund, Tevin Foster riding here for Joseph Thomas. Came from far off the pace last time out to finish 5th by 5 3/4 lengths to Green Gold Rush, Ahmad Ali and Nakamura for 700,000. So at this level, before that, they was running for 1 million and 1.5 million. So capable at this level. And from a clean break, if she gets a pace to run at, this She's My Hedge Fund will be finishing strong in the stretch. The 6, Charming Sound, Jaheim Anderson claiming 4 kilos for Tensan Chung. Useful mare. Last time out at this level, disappointed, 5th by 19 lengths, but that was to an out-of-class Justin Big Time, who stepped down to Claimers. So this Charming Sound was only 5 lengths off of Magical Mood and Conundrum. That was at 6 furlongs. Runs better at this distance. Has run well against this opposition before. Was second by 5 lengths to The Real Identity when chasing the speed. That was back in August. Had a win after that for 5-year-old numbers of 3. And has run for 700,000 when a little too early for her own good, finishing 6 by 9 lengths to Manny Slam and Conundrum. That was at 6.5 furlongs. And getting this 4 kilo claim in this race, Morning Lights is 30 to 1. Could be a dangerous outsider in the event. The 7, The Real Identity, Radish Roman riding here for Anthony Nunes. Consistent 5-year-old horse, but always gets it wrong at the start. Always has a lot to do when he comes into the stretch, but does run well nonetheless. Second by a half length last time out to Bella Bella at 6.5 furlongs. Was second by 3/4 length at 7 furlongs to Dimitri P, who is present, but he had a horrible start and was flying late. Was third by 12 lengths to Whiskey, but Whiskey was way out of class at 700,000, winning by 10 lengths. He was only 2 lengths off a Turn on the Light, who recently won. So if this Real Identity comes out of the gates cleanly on this occasion, is the horse they're going to have to beat, even though carrying 126 pounds. And the horse I like in the race though is going to be the 8, I Realize. Demar Williams claiming 2 kilos here for Alfred Brown. Now, I Realize, in my opinion, represents the speed of the race with the back class. Last time out, back in October, for a million claimer, 6.5 furlongs, was surprisingly off the fractions and stayed on to be third by half a length behind Natural Dancer. But usually, this horse tends to show early speed in his races. If you look back on June 8th at a million claimer, tried to make all the running, but was caught in the stretch by Titan Tempo, had She's My Hedge Fund behind there. So in a race like this, getting this 2 kilo claim, stepping down in class, and as I say, I think this horse is the natural pace of the race. I Realize the horse they're going to have to catch and the horse they're going to have to beat. The second race, Naturebred 4-year-olds and up, Nanders of 2, and imported 4-year-olds and up maiden. A field of 6, they go 7 furlongs, ball it down to 3. They're going to be the 2, Racola, the 3, Bubbling Brown Sugar, and the 5, Successful Man. Okay, Racola. Dane McKenzie claiming 4 kilos for Michael Marlowe. I would have said unlucky loser last time out. Got involved in the pace a little bit too early and was trying to rally in deep stretch. Shane Ellis, I don't know, he just was not conjuring anything from Racola. Was only beaten half a length in that race won by the Soul Warrior at 99 to 1. Chesney was second there. But returning here, getting this 4 kilo claim, so coming in extremely light and is, in my opinion, the class horse of the race. This Racola looks like the horse they're going to have to beat. The 3, Bubbling Brown Sugar, Jaheim Anderson claimed 4 kilos for Ryan Darby. Also came out of that race there too. Was hindered badly leaving the 5 furlong mark and shuffled back to last, and was making gains in the stretch, finishing 6 by 7 3/4 lengths. So getting was 4 kilo claim, so coming in pretty light. And from a clean trip here, expecting a much better showing from this Bubbling Brown Sugar. And the 5, Successful Man, Radish Roman riding for Errol Burke, did not display any pace in that same race. So I'm going to toss that run out because definitely can run better. If you notice back on August 6th, 9:25, right to the pace the entire way, finishing second by a length to Papidan, had Chesney 7 lengths behind, and at 7 furlongs back in July, second by 5 lengths to Buttercup. So definitely has run against better than these and expecting a much better showing from the Successful Man. But personally, I think Racola is the horse they're going to all have to beat. The third race, Naturebred 3-year-old maidens, small field of 6, they go 5.5 furlongs. I think it's going to come down to 3 horses. The 2, You're My Sweetie. The 5, Life is Light. And the 6, Worries Again. Okay, the 2, You're My Sweetie. Dane Dawkins riding for Gary Sabrati. On paper, this looks like the perfect opportunity for You're My Sweetie to break her maiden. But this horse tends to leave the starting gate slow and runs into traffic problem every time she runs and then comes flying late. But in a race like this, only 6 horses, nothing special in the event. She looks like the horse that they're going to have to beat. The 5, Life is Life. Anthony Allen claimed 2 kills for Gary Griffiths. Put in a good run last time, out coming from off the pace. They finished 4th by 5 1/4 lengths in that same race with Dark Swan and You're My Sweetie. That was at 5 round, gets an extra half a furlong to run at. And coming in the 112 pounds, Life is Light should run well once again. But the horse I'm going to keep my eye on is going to be the 6, Worries Again. Richie Shakes riding here for Robert French. Only 2 starts to date. On debut was 8 by 7 3/4 lengths to Platinum Princess, Speedball Rush of Class, and 1 Code. Last time out, 14th of September, 6 furlongs, was mixing up in the pace early in a race won by Royal Maverick, but the pace of that race had Big LA and some other speedballs where Worries Again was right with the pace. They went 23 for the opening quarter. So that is telling me that this Worries Again potentially is a horse that has good early pace, and in a race of this nature that is void of real speed, and this horse is very well bred and bred for a lot of speed, and they've called for Richie Shakes once again, and I think Richie Shakes is going to put this horse in front. So small field, You're My Sweetie looks like the obvious choice, but be very careful of the 6, Worries Again, if he turns out to be the lone speed in the event. The 4th race, nature bred 4-year-olds and up, knowledge of 4, and imported 4-year-olds and up, knowledge of 3. Field of 7, they go 8 furlongs, boiled down to 3. They're going to be the 1, Wicked Cassie, the 4, Matusa, and the 5, Unruly Don. Okay, Wicked Cassie, Dane Nelson riding here for Patrick Lynch. Impressive winner last time out when coming from off the pace to win out of class by 6 3/4 lengths over Noble Sovereign and Princess Fiani after coming out of the gate slow for non-winners of 3, so stepping up in class here, but can handle these, have raced with these in the past. So Wicked Cassie, very fit right now. Dane Nelson in the saddle, looks like the horse they might have to beat. The 4, Matusa. Siobhan Townsend claiming 2 kilos here for Howard McLeod. 4th by 5.5 lengths last time out to Brenda Boy going 6.5 furlongs. In my opinion, this is possibly the legitimate speed horse in a race that looks to lack pace. Back on 12th of July, going 7 furlongs, was a tearaway leader and managed to hold on by a short head from Oil Machine, who is now running very well in overnight company. So in a race like this, I don't think the mile is going to be a problem, especially if Matusa is allowed to dictate terms. Looks like the horse they're going to have to definitely catch. And the 5, Unruly Don, Radish Woman riding for Oral Hayden. Another horse that has pace, but his pace is more if there's nobody in the race with pace. That's how Unruly Don, I think, will manage to get the lead. It has to be a race completely void of speed. This time around, I think Matusa will be the pace horse, so he will be the stalker. So if he makes Matusa go too fast too soon, he could be able to pick it up, and then he definitely gets a mile and could prove difficult to tag back in the lane. So 7 horses, but I think it comes down to one of these 3. If they allow Matusa to slip off on the front end, could be a very dangerous horse. Wicked Cassie just coming up in class, but looks very, very fit and probably might get some speed in front of her to close up. And Unruly Don is going to have to start the pace. So I'm probably going to use all 3. The 5th race, 3-year-old and up, optional claiming 350,000 to 250,000. 6-year-olds and up, knowledge of 3, and nature bred 5-year-old maidens. 13 starters, they go 4 furlongs straight. Boiled down to 4, they're going to be the 2, So Beautiful, the 7, Restoration, the 9, Air of Fire, and the 10, Undisclosed Location. Okay, So Beautiful. Morning line says 20 to 1. Joy Haynes here, claiming 4 kilos for Donovan Plummer. Last time out, class above this, 5 furlongs round. Prominent early, turned for home second, was 3rd by 8 lengths at the furlong pole before fading to finish 7 by 22 lengths to the out of class Tigray Express and Undisclosed Location, who is present. Had a win back in May for 500,000 going 5 round, making all the running. So stepping down in class now and getting this 4 kilo claim, even though the money line says 20 to 1. The figure 8 is now on. Expecting a good run from this So Beautiful with her natural speed. The 7, Restoration. Jaheim Anderson, claiming 4 kilos here from Michael Caine Jr. Nothing in the last 3 starts, but those were for 4-year-old non-winners of 4. Was a winner for 4-year-old non-winners of 3 back in March, 5 furlong straight, beating A Breath of Fresh Air and Hot Bread Scammer. Any one of those 2 running this race, they could win as far as they can throw a stone. But obviously has his problems, but freshened up for this. Has a canter, some tracks coming into the race, and definitely if Restoration turns up fit with this 4 kilo claim. If Restoration turns up in good form, could definitely fight this out. The 9, Air of Fire, Tevin Foster riding here for Howard Bailey. Unfortunate loser last time out. Reared at the start when coming out of the gates, but still managed to be in contention throughout. Only beaten a length and a quarter by Phoenix Risen, had Basilicus behind in that race. That was at this level. So even though facing horses stepping down in class, is definitely fit and giving this Air of Fire another shot at putting in a decent effort. But the horse I think they're going to all have to beat is going to be the 10 undisclosed location. Robert Halliday riding for Jason DaCosta. Last time out at 500,000. Tour-away leader. Came to the top of the lane, 4 lengths clear, looked the win at the furlong pole, but then Tigray Express sprouted wings and caught up to undisclosed location winning. So stepping down to 350,000 off of that run, seems fit, active at exercise. In my opinion, looks like the horse that they're all going to have to beat. The 6th race, nature bred 5-year-olds and up, numbers of 2 and imported 5-year-olds and up maiden. Field of 12, they go 5.5 furlongs, boils down to 4. They're going to be the 6, Shine For Me, the 8, Storm Boy, the 9, Miss Linton, and the 11, Blinding Light. Okay, the 6, Shine For Me. In my opinion, this horse represents the speed of the event. Demar Williams claiming 2 kilos here for Paul Swaby. Last time out, 6 by 19 lengths, going 7 furlongs, a bit a stretch for this Shine For Me. Faced the speedy Bobby Too Bad Rockola. So definitely stretched over his head last time out. Before that, at 6.5 furlongs, tried to make all the running in the sloppy conditions, but caught near the finish by Empress in the Breeze. Had a win back in September, 5 furlongs run when making all the running, beating Blinding Light. So definitely speedy. I think coming here fit, has only been ponied coming to this race, but Demar Williams claims 2 kilos. So coming in with 113 pounds, I think Shine For Me is the horse they're going to have to all catch. The 8, Storm Boy, Philip Parchment for Courtney Williams. 7 by 5 lengths last time out in that same race with Emperor in the Breeze and Shine For Me. Before that, over the straight course, was second by half a length to He Stands Alone. So consistent horse, this Storm Boy. Can go around the bend well. Last time at 5.5 furlongs. Was the leader, finished second by 3 lengths to Cruising Again. So does have pace, although I think Shine For Me is a little more speedier. Should run well. The 9, Miss Linton. 4-5 favorite last time out, going 4 furlongs straight, but was beaten into 4th by 3 3/4 lengths to the very improved Newland Lynx and Speedy Briscoe. Stein was 3rd there. Gets Tevin Foster now. Also one of those horses with pace. I think prefers to go around the bend. He was at 6 furlongs on the 19th of October, finishing 5th by 14 lengths to Jack Daniels and Xylophonic Steels and Toots. So a lot of horses there with pace, and it was in the pace for most of the way. Going to prefer this distance. They have now added the figure 8, so this horse probably having some breathing issues, so with the figure 8 on to keep her mouth closed, Tevin Foster in the saddle expecting a big run from this Miss Linton. And the 11, Blinding Light. I've used this horse in the last 3 tips. Although a maiden, this 5-year-old, second last time out, 4.5 furlongs straight to Sudden Flight for 200,000, but for 5-year-old non-winners of 2, was 5th by 5.5 lengths to Newland Lynx, very fit Newland Lynx. And for 200,000 was second by a length and 3/4 to Don Almighty. So very capable, going around the bend and coming in extremely light. This horse is coming with a feather to tot. Jaheim Anderson claiming 4 kilos here for Gary Griffiths. So Blinding Light, I'm going to give an outsider's chance in this event. So as I said, Shine For Me is the horse I think they're going to all have to catch. If he cracks up front early, probably Miss Linton could sneak through, but competitive race, I'm probably going to use all 4. The 7th race, this is the Sunnyside Stakes. Native bred 2-year-old maiden special weight for fillies. 7 starters, 5 furlongs round, so it's a quick dash. Know nothing about these horses, so I'm going to go off of breeding and exercise reports boiled down to 3. They're going to be the 1, Tailor Made, the 6, 1, Yanza Lynx, and the 7, Giving Thanks. Okay, Tailor Made, Abigail Abe riding for Jason DaCosta. Bred for a lot of speed, Avina Malcano out of Another Fury. Has nice workouts coming to this race on the 29th of November out the gates. 4 furlongs straight in 47.3, pulled up in 102.2. Had a 36.4 on the 22nd of November. Had a 35.4 on the 16th of November. Last work coming to this race December 13th. 5 furlongs in 101 and 1 with Fidelity. That's a very good workout coming here for this grey filly, Tailor Made. The 6, 1, Ianza Lynx. Casual trick by Nippit, which makes her the full sister to former Horse of the Year, Nipster. Dane Dawkins riding here for Anthony Nunes. Has some nice works coming to this race for her debut. 23rd of November, 4 furlongs in 50 and 1/5, the 30th of November, 49.1. Or the straight course, 49.3, pulled up in 104 and 2, and last work coming to this race, 5 furlongs in 103. So it looks forward, expecting a decent run, gets a lay 6 for the first time on her debut. Good run expected from 1 Ianza Lynx. And the 7, Giving Thanks. 7 faster riding here for Philip Fiani. Bred for speed, Burn Identity out of Lightning Lily by Stormcraft. Also has nice works coming here with Firecracker on the 15th of November, 3 furlongs in 37, and then on the 25th of November, 3 furlongs in 35.4. So improve that exercise works. Comes from the stable of Philip Fiani. Tevin Foster riding here. Lakeland Farms. Looks forward. Good run expected from this filly. So I'm going to stick with those 3 in this event. The 8th race, native bred 3-year-old, numbers of 2 and imported 3-year-old and up maiden. A field of 8, they go 6 furlongs, boiled down to 4. They're going to be the 1, Brahma Bull, the 3, Native Flyer, the 4, Miss Brayton, and the 8, Cutout. Okay, Brahma Bull, Dane Nelson riding here for Anthony Nunes. Last time out, 3rd by 19 lengths to the out-of-class looking Diesel Train. I'm Outstanding was 2nd there. Before that, at 6 furlongs in November, 5th by 9 lengths to the Leviticus and Speedball Dreamer's Corner. That was coming off a long rest, so this is the 3rd start off the break. The distance looks perfect, does have early pace to start the leaders, and with Dane Nelson once again in the saddle, Brahma Bull expected to fight this out. The 3, Native Flyer, 7,000 claiming 2 kilos here for Stephen Todd, showed up on last at 5.5 furlongs when closing in the stretch to finish 3rd by 3 lengths to Dreamer's Corner and Cutout. So with that run behind her, showing her fitness and getting this 2 kilo claim, expect Native Flyer to put in another good run. The 4, Miss Brayton, Radish Roman, riding here for Ricardo Brown. Prominent, faded back in the stretch last time out to finish 7 by 6 lengths to the same race with Dreamer's Corners and Cutout. Will face that kind of pace again, but if breaking better and getting to track the leaders instead of having to come from far off the pace, expecting Miss Brayton to put in a much better run. Now they've called for the champion jockey Radish Roman in the saddle. Fairly light, 116 pounds. The distance looks right about the alley of this Miss Brayton. And from a clean break, I think she will fight it out. But the horse I think they're going to have to beat is going to be the 8, Cutout. Now Cutout, Jaheim Anderson claiming 4 kilos for Lesra Thompson. Second last time out to Dreamer's Corner. Tackled Dreamer's Corner, got the lead, but was out-kicked in the stretch. Finishing 2nd by 2 lengths, had Native Flyer behind there. Before that, going 7.5 furlongs, tried to make all the running, but 7.5 was a bit too taxing for Cutout, fading in the stretch to finish 8 by 23 lengths behind Diesel Train, who ramped home. Brahma Bull finished 3rd there. Had a good run back on the 19th of October at 5.5 furlongs, 2nd by 3/4 length to Mineola. Hazelnut was behind there. So Cutout does have natural pace, getting this 4 kilo claim, so coming in extremely light, 109 pounds. I'm expecting this horse to go to the front, and it's catch her if you can. Cutout is the horse I think they're going to have to catch, the horse I think they're going to have to beat. The 9th and final feature event, the Will in Charge Trophy. 3 and up overnight allowance, a field of 10, they go 8 furlongs. Competitive race, going to boil it down to 4. They're going to be the 4, Divine Force, the 5, Crown Chaser, the 7, Mark My Identity, and the 8, Interesting Times Ahead. Okay, Divine Force, morning line says 10 to 1. Top weight 126 pounds, Delroy Behari in the saddle here for Anthony Nunes. Useful animal, I thought this horse would be in open allowance company, but obviously does have some issues. Because was an easy winner back in May when making all the running with Behari to win by 2.5 lengths from Gurvano. Came back, was off the pace, finished 5th by 6 lengths to Commandant. That was against the best horses in the country. Atomica was 2nd there. Is a horse that does have early pace, but not genuinely a front runner. But at this distance, will show that speed, and with the top weight, even with the top weight and Delroy Behari in the saddle, in a race of this nature, if Divine Force is allowed to get to that front end and relax, could prove a very tough nut to crack in the stretch. If you look on his recent run on the 23rd of November at 7.5 furlongs, even though it was coming from off the pace, was a good 3rd by 5.5 lengths to Digital One. Came back after that in 9 furlongs and 25 yards. In the race on Mute Mile Day, was nowhere in it, finished 7 by 15 lengths, but that was against some useful horses and the pace was really fast in the early stages of that race. So better for that run. Coming in here, down in class, definitely Divine Force. Even from the head of scales, are going to give a good shot in this event. The 5, Crown Chaser, Dane Nelson riding here for Anthony Nunes. Okay, this was the 2024 Derby winner. Finally getting his act together, had back-to-back wins in October, winning 7.5 and a mile, beating Wicked Cassie and Unruly Don, respectively. Then stepped up to 3 classes up, I should say, in the Jamaica Cup, beating 8 by 15 lengths to Mojito and Gurvana, but not bad for us jumping 2 classes up. So now taking a 2-class step down to overnight allowance, should be comfortable at overnight allowance, has a stalking pace, and if the pace is not too fast and gets away from Crown Chaser, should be in there with a good shot, working well coming into this on the 14th of December, 5.5 in 109.4 by 103 with Captain Sparrow. Definitely on the improve, and at overnight company, Crown Chaser is in here with a good shot to pull this off. The 7, Mark My Identity. Dane Dawkins right here for Byron Davis. Now this horse has gone on from strength to strength since the classics. Was disappointing in the Derby, the Guineas, the Kingston, was third in the Prince Consort Stakes. 2 horses that ran in front of him there ended up not making it to the Guineas or the Derby, Honor Prince and Runaway Star. But after the Derby, when finishing 6 by 10 lengths to I Dream Again, came back in September in non-winners of 2, 7 furlongs, blocked in the stretch and still managed to win, beating I'm Outstanding and Kelly's. Stepped up in class, basically 2 classes up to non-winners of 4, going a mile off the fractions, and came with a powerful late run and caught stealing home American Aviator. Highly thought of H2O, was now passed, was third there, and my Identity was slow out of the gates, but did come with a terrific late run. And then recently, in the 22nd of November, same 3-year-old non-winners of 4, start the pace and kick to the stretch for an impressive 3-length win, beating American Aviator again and Sensational Soul, who was the Guineas winner, who beat him by 13 lengths in the Guineas. And he broke slow that day again. So this is telling me this My Identity is really getting into himself now, becoming a much better horse. Probably the top 3-year-old right now, in my opinion, local bred, this My Identity. So I think overnight allowance, he's going to be capable here at overnight allowance. And 92 is a good price. As my father always say, follow a winner till him lose. And the 8, Interesting Times Ahead. Anthony Allen claiming 2 kilos here for Jason DaCosta. Interesting Times Ahead was a classic winner last season. Last win, though, was back in May in overnight allowance. And just off the pace, running on at 7 furlongs to beat Major Danger and Blue Vinyl. So that's a good run there to beat Blue Vinyl. And Interesting Times Ahead was carrying top weight of 126 pounds. Next good run was in the Typewriter on the 28th of September, going 7.5 furlongs when stalking the pace, and then staying on to finish second to Unspun, had Provident behind there. And then on the 23rd of November, 4th by 7.5 lengths to Digital 1 at 7.5 furlongs. His last run at 8 furlongs was against out-of-class horses, Is That a Fact and Run Julie Run. Gets this 2 kilo claim and expecting a good run from this Interesting Times Ahead in this event. So, very competitive race. The 2 horses I like the most in the race is going to be Divine Force, because he had a good third at 7.5 furlongs by 8 lengths to Desert of Malibu and Run Julie Run. And My Identity is the 3-year-old that's looking for 4 consecutive wins, so he can be anything. Really competitive. I like those 2 really and truly, but Divine Force very, very heavy. My Identity stepping up in class. On my pick 6, I think I'm going to use all 4. Okay, guys, hope we have some luck on the 2 race day programs. Remember to like, share, leave a comment, and as always, stay safe.